1. Why starting small beats starting big. When people set new goals, they often aim for massive change, work out an hour a day, write 2,000 words, or overhaul their diet. But big goals often lead to burnout or procrastination. That's where the 2-minute rule comes in. Popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits, this rule flips the script. Start with something so small, it's impossible to fail. The idea is simple. Any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to begin. Want to read more? Just open the book. Want to work out? Put on your shoes. That's it. Starting small lowers resistance and builds momentum. The brain resists big changes, but tiny actions slide under the radar. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. But even if you don't, you've still succeeded. The goal isn't instant transformation, it's consistency. When you master the art of showing up, you build identity-based habits. I'm the kind of person who starts. Over time, these 2-minute actions become the gateway to larger habits. Starting tiny doesn't mean thinking small, it means starting smart. 2. How the 2-minute rule tricks your brain into action. The hardest part of any habit is starting. Your brain often builds up resistance. It's too hard, I don't have time, or I'll do it later. The 2-minute rule defeats that resistance by making the action too small to say no to. It tricks your brain into motion. Once you begin, your brain shifts from mental resistance to physical momentum. For example, saying, "I'll write for 2 minutes," removes the pressure of finishing a whole blog post or chapter. It's just starting. But more often than not, once you start, you keep going. That's the magic of momentum. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain wants to finish what it starts. The 2-minute rule uses the cognitive quirk to your advantage. It also minimizes the emotional weight of action. You're not committing to a full workout, just a few stretches. You're not organizing your whole office, just opening a drawer. The brain responds better to small wins, and small wins lead to lasting change. If you're stuck, overwhelmed, or procrastinating, use the 2-minute rule. The smaller the start, the faster you move. 3. Examples of the 2-minute rule in real life. The 2-minute rule applies to nearly every area of your life: work, fitness, relationships, learning, and even mental health. The key is breaking down a big habit into a tiny entry point. Here are a few examples. Want to exercise? Just put on your gym shoes or do 1 push-up. Want to read more? Open the book and read 1 sentence. Want to write daily? Set a 2-minute timer and type anything. Want to meditate? Sit down, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths. Want to declutter? Set a timer and clean for 2 minutes only. These actions may feel laughably small, but that's the point. You're not trying to do the whole task. You're just building the starting muscle. When it feels easy, it becomes doable. Over time, 2 minutes becomes 5, then 10. But even if it stays short, that's still progress. What matters is consistency, not scale. These micro-habits reinforce your identity. I'm someone who shows up. That identity shift is more powerful than any grand gesture. Small starts create strong finishes. 4. Why identity is built in 2 minutes. The real power of the 2-minute rule isn't the action, it's the identity shift it creates. Every time you show up, even for 2 minutes, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Read for 2 minutes. You're a reader. Meditate for 2 minutes. You're someone who values mindfulness. These small acts reinforce your self-image, and self-image drives long-term behavior. Most people try to change habits by chasing outcomes. I want to lose weight, or I want to make more money. But the 2-minute rule teaches you to start by shaping identity. I want to become someone who works out, or someone who manages money well. It turns habits into statements of who you are, not just what you do. The rule also reduces guilt and perfectionism. Missed a 60-minute session. That's okay, just do 2 minutes today. You stay consistent, which preserves the habit streak and the belief in yourself. In the long run, your identity will always overpower motivation. That's why starting tiny matters. It gives your future self a foundation to build on. Your habits shape your identity, and identity begins with a 2-minute decision. 5. How to build your own 2-minute habit plan. Creating your own 2-minute habit plan is simple but powerful. Start by choosing a goal you want to achieve. Then ask, what's the first 2-minute version of this habit? The key is to pick something so small you can do it anywhere, anytime, even on your worst day. Want to journal? Write 1 sentence. Want to drink more water? Take 1 sip first thing in the morning. Once you've identified the starter habit, attach it to a cue, something you already do daily. For example, after brushing your teeth, you do 1 minute of stretching. After making coffee, you write your single journal sentence. This technique is called habit stacking, and it links your new habit to an existing routine. Track your consistency, not your intensity. A habit tracker or simple checklist can reinforce the streak. And here's a bonus. Give yourself permission to stop after 2 minutes. You probably won't, but knowing you can makes it easier to start. This isn't about pushing hard, it's about showing up. Over time, that tiny action becomes effortless, and you can scale it naturally. Your best habits don't begin with pressure. They begin with a micro win and the decision to start.